Kempire is brought to you by...
We just had another successful Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era live experience in Atlanta, and we are headed to Washington, D.C. on August 22nd. Every single show is so uniquely different. Ask anyone that's been to the Philly show or the Atlanta show or the next Washington, D.C. show. Get your tickets today for our night of hot topics, tea being spilled, me and you, and for so much more. More information will be available in the description on our next show date, which will be coming up August 22nd. And then our last summer tour date will be here in New York City on September 12th at the Green Room 42. That show not only will have a meet and greet available, will also have a live stream option. So no matter where you are in the world, you will be able to be a part of the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era live show in New York City on September 12th. More information on both shows will be available in the description. I'll see you all very soon.
You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go.
What is this, honey?
Welcome back to the Kempire channel. Let me know if you can see me, hear me. I had a little bit of a technical hiccup just now, but it's okay. We are also live on Twitch and Twitter. We just went live on Twitch. Shout out to Twitter. I was talking to Twitter for a second there. Look, I thought I had everything set up, and if you saw, I had posted our Real Housewives of Atlanta rewatch for season 6 days ago. So I thought everything was set up properly, but you know, Mercury still has the shadow period, right, Nicki Minaj, of the retrograde. So here we are. Shout out to all of you for being here. I appreciate you being here for our rewatch party. Hold on. Let me go to this one. This is what I really wanted to set up. There we go. This is the one that we wanted to use, right? All right. For our rewind, rewatch, recap party here on the Kempire YouTube channel. We're live on Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Shout out to the person that just gave us a dislike. Why? If you look, this is not for you. Not everything on social media is going to be for you. If you don't like what you're watching, go somewhere else. But I appreciate you watching. Look. I just find it so weird. We haven't even started yet. Are you a hater? Just hate watching? Keep watching. Okay, I'm gonna give you a lot more to hate about. Okay. But, so guys, I rewatched the first 4 episodes of season 6 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's so interesting to kind of go back and watch these women that are currently on the show or are currently still very much in the universe of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, before we even get into that, let me know where you're watching from. Samantha's watching from London. What's going on? Shout out to our King's Guard. Shout out to our channel members. Shout out to our subscribers. It is a subscribers only live chat. Happy Monday. I watched these first 4 episodes over the weekend, and then I tried this morning. I got up really early this morning because I had some errands to run. And then this morning, since I was up early, I said, okay, let me see if I can rewatch, because I don't want to. These rewatch recaps are not going to be going, you know, like how we normally do our recaps of going scene by scene by scene. It doesn't make sense to do that. We're going to be doing like 3 to 4 episodes at a time. It would be too much. We would be here for hours. But of course, if there's elements from each episode that you want us to point out, feel free to chime in the live chat or when I drop the call-in link. Because there are different elements that are the same throughout episodes 1 to 4 that we will talk about. All right, watching from the OC, Janessa's watching. Arnika is watching from Los Angeles. What's going on? Watching. The Mellow Reacts is watching from Austin, Texas. Johannesburg, Amina's in the house. What's going on? Watching from Seattle, Daphne. What's going on? Maurice watching from the UK, Essex. Chicago's in the building. What's going on? And Watson, Perfectly Blended, is watching from Miami. Atlanta in the D house. What's going on, Darlene? We appreciate you. Kimberly's watching from Brooklyn. Vicky's watching from Phoenix. We were trying to go live on Facebook, and we did, but then I had to end it because we're not live on YouTube, the most important place. But we will figure that out for next time, okay? Bonjour from Montreal, Arizona. Paul's watching from Arizona. HLE is watching from Canada, Toronto specifically. Hi from Norway. What's going on? What's going on, everyone? And if you're a part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know where you're watching from as well, and to let us know your thoughts on The Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 6. So let me just first start off with this. I gave you guys the opportunity to weigh in. Where should we start when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta? And a lot of you said season 1. A lot of you said season 3. A lot of you said season 5. And a lot of you said season 6. So that I was able to narrow it down. I was surprised that some of you wanted to start at season 1. And it would make sense for us to start at season 1. But I'm kind of glad that we didn't. When I posted those 4 seasons and for you guys to vote, overwhelmingly, you guys voted season 6. I was shocked because I thought really we were going to start on season 3 or maybe season 5. But I was really, really, really shocked that that you guys voted for season 6. But it was almost kismet because season 6, when we look at season 16, season 6 is where Porsha is going through her divorce. Literally what they show at the top of season 16, when they're flashing back her going into her lawyer's office, the same lawyer's office. Literally, this is where we are in season 6. So to watch season 16 feels so interesting. And now that we know a lot about Porsha, it kind of makes me look at young, naive Porsha a little differently. Was young Porsha really that naive? We get a lot of Miss Diane, too, in season 6. Was Porsha really that naive? Because I will tell you, those first 4 episodes, I don't think Cordell was innocent. Please understand, because he was... I don't know, how much older was Cordell than Porsha? Because Porsha definitely gives you very young, even though she was like 27 at the time. Well, no, she was 30-something at the time. So her energy gave very youthful and young. But Cordell, he just seemed older. What was the age difference between Cordell and Porsha at the time? I know I could have Googled this, but I just thought of it right now. Okay? Pillow Talk is the season 6. This is probably why you guys chose that. Yep, the same lawyer. She used the same lawyer from season 6 in season 16 for her divorce. Okay? Yeah, she wasn't young. She was 33. Well, no, 30. She was 30-something. She was like her early 30s. Okay? Raven says old Porsha is still naive. No, she's not. I'm telling you guys, I don't know if young Porsha was that naive. Keith says he's 10 years older than Porsha. So he definitely was, 40-something years old at the time. I don't think he was innocent. I don't think he was completely innocent. I definitely think he wanted to have Porsha on his arm. I don't know if it was to dispel the gay rumors, but remember in that season, the very first few episodes, she seems like she's trying to fight for that relationship. However, it is interesting seeing her go from episode 1 to episode 4, how it switches up really quickly when she realizes that Cordell does not want to be with her anymore. But the way that Cordell, but this is why I don't think Porsha's innocent. I'm jumping all around, but this is my recap, okay? Here's the thing. Porsha makes it seem as if she didn't see the divorce was coming, but she randomly asked him, are you going to divorce me? Ariana says that Cordell is 52 right now. And Porsha is 44? So he was 12 years older. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, 12 years older. Well, no. 18 years older. 18 years? Really? 8 years older. Math. Marie says that Cordell was sneaky. I definitely think he was sneaky, but when she said I forgot what episode it was. Within the first 4 episodes. She says that she asked, it was the first episode when she met with her attorney. And she says to the attorney, I asked him, or maybe she said to someone else. I can't remember. It's a lot of episodes altogether. Okay. She said, she asked him whether or not he was going to divorce her. And he was like, no, only for him to divorce later. He was definitely sneaky, but I don't think Porsha was completely blindsided. It's really interesting to watch season 6 after watching season 16 and after getting to know that Porsha is a little bit sneaky on her own. But it also lets me know after what Porsha went through in this divorce, Porsha was like, you're not going to get over on me. I'm going to blindside you. And that divorce, if anything, she should thank Cordell. If anything, Porsha should thank Cordell because I know that made her be the woman that she is today when it comes to divorcing Simon. Why she wanted to make sure, even though she didn't buy that house with Simon, literally, watching season 6, her talk about how her name wasn't on any bills. He never gave her money. Remember Simon in his recent interview with ATLian? She said she asked for a monthly allowance. Everything that she didn't get with Cordell, Porsha made sure in this new relationship and marriage that she got. She got her monthly allowance. She got her prenup that she was taking care of. And then she got her name put on that house. His bookie says that she was his beard, Kenya called it. Yeah, but literally in season 6, you see from episode 1 to episode 4, you see Porsha slowly but surely reveal. And was she being vindictive? Well, you're divorcing me. You're throwing me out the house. You're treating me like you don't know me anymore. You're treating me like a stranger. Part of me has to give her grace because if someone did that to you, you're probably going to throw every negative thought that you ever had about that person. If you thought they were gay, if you thought that they were a cheater, so she was doing that. But in the first episode of season 6, Porsha seems really like she wants to fight for her marriage. She doesn't want to take her ring off. But now that we know the Porsha that we know, I'm thinking that Porsha didn't want to take her ring off because Porsha was like, I like pretty things. I like expensive things. And it was a big rock. I'm assuming she got to keep that in the divorce. I don't remember. I'm assuming she did. Do you think she still has it? Or do you think she sold it and got the cash? It's so interesting to watch season 6 after years of knowing these people. Sierra, you're not late. We just started. Girl. If you haven't already, guys, be sure to like the video. This is our new segment that we're going to be doing every Monday called the Rewind, Rewatch, Recap with Kempire, with moi. I just had to get right on in, but okay. Let me fine tune this. We're going to figure out the way we're going to handle our recaps, but we're talking about the very first 4 episodes. I know I originally said 3, but I had to keep on going. I probably could have watched the first 8 episodes, but I said, no, let's break this up, okay? I don't want to talk about season 6 for 3 months like we normally would with these other shows, but we will probably talk about it for the next month or so. So stay with me, stay tuned. Even if you watch ahead, feel free so you can, stay abreast of what we're talking about. After this season, we're going to jump into Real Housewives of New York's older seasons, too, okay? Thank you, Teresa. Teresa says, I love this new segment, Kempire. Thank you, guys. A lot of you said that you wanted this. So this is part of us answering the request of our community, okay? Speaking of our community, the Kempire After Dark live experience is coming to Washington, D.C. next. The Villain Era is coming to Washington, D.C. at the Pearl Street, D.C. Location, so make sure you get your tickets today. Meet and greets are available for that show. If you want to see another side of what we talk about where there are no holds bar, okay? I'm going to be talking about everything and everyone. In D.C., you will have the first exclusive drop of some tea that I haven't even told some of the people that I know, close and dear to me. I haven't told anyone. I'm waiting till I get to DC to drop this information, okay? It's a first ever, and it's only happening at the DC show. So go get your tickets today if you haven't gotten your tickets. Then our last show of the summer will be here in New York City, September 12th at the Green Room 42. That show will have a live stream option. So that means I'll talk about the exclusive information that I'm going to drop in DC in September, because maybe there'll be more information. I don't know. Okay? So go get your tickets for that. There was a live stream for that show. So anyone from anywhere around the world can watch it, and you'll have that live stream for 1 week. But you have to buy your tickets before the show. Don't think on September 13th, I'm going to buy the ticket for the show. No, you have to be able to buy it before the show, and then you'll be able to keep that. And if you're coming to the show, look, I understand. If you're not strapped for $1, I understand the economy, the administration, our country's in shambles. I understand. But if you can, I know for me, like I just saw Purpose on Broadway. If I had a live stream option to that, for me to rewatch that, it was like Sinners too. Like you had to go back and watch it. You might want to be able to go back and watch it, because if you're there in person, you probably want to kind of go back and be like, what happened? What was said? What was the tea that was dropped? So go get your tickets today for the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era. We only got 2 more cities, at least for this year. at least for now, okay? For the summer. We have 2 more cities, Washington, D.C., August 22nd, and then New York City, September 12th. Taria Faison will be opening up for me in D.C., and Brooke Ashley will be opening up for me in New York City yet again. Again, ticket information will be available in the description. All right, so before we even get in, shout out to everyone watching on Twitch. I see our Twitch community. Hey, Nelson. Hey, Mama Ali. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Angel. Everyone's loving watching over there. I meant to stream on this other platform so that you guys could see me in fully 4K, but you guys still say I look great over there. All right. Hey, Raya says, still here for Kemp's pop culture commentary anyway. We will have to, I think, when we're watching season 6, we'll see what's happening in pop culture at that time, because I feel like that's just going to come up regardless. But it is really interesting watching these women that we've known for so long and going back and watching. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Hold on. Let me take a sip. Oh, Lord, not martial law, Funky says. Oh, Lord. All right. Let me get to... I don't have notes. I have just little reminders, but I do want to talk about the taglines. Taglines from season... Where is it? Hold on, y'all. There we go. The taglines from season 6 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Because I think that's important to talk about, don't you think? The taglines? If they were good, how we would rate them. Paula says, I got you all over, Kempire. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Let me just remind you of the taglines. I will say this. Watching season 6, I'm always reminded, and I always give Nene her credit. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone wants to be like, Kempire, you hate Nene. No, I always give Nene her credit. Watching Nene in season 6, remember this is after the new normal has been canceled. And so she's back from Hollywood. She's sort of in that space where everything was kind of going up, 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 up for her. And then this is where things start to kind of get a little fuzzy for her. And I think that's where her personality started to change, but not in season 6. Season 6, she's still fun. But she's back in Atlanta. She loves Atlanta, but she wants to be in LA because she's like, I'm supposed to be a big time actress now. I'm on Glee. I'm doing The New Normal. The New Normal wasn't a bad show. I remember watching. It wasn't a bad show. I just don't think people were ready for it, if we're going to be honest. Okay. Thank you so much, Rita. Rita just gifted 5 memberships to our YouTube community. Thank you, Rita. Rita's always so generous. Everyone say thank you to Rita. Ashley, you got a membership. Singer DST, you got a membership. Bravo Rex got a membership. Natty Girl got a membership. Thank you so much, Rita. We appreciate you. All right, let's get to the taglines, and let me know, replay crew, let me know as well, those of you watching on Twitch and Twitter, let me know how you'd rate these taglines in 2025. Over how many years ago? How would you rate them today, these taglines? Let's start with Nene Leakes. Nene's tagline from season 6 was, success is in my DNA. When one door closes, another one opens. So you heard what I explained in regards to what was going on in Nene's life. So this was sort of like, okay, the new normal has been canceled, but now I'm back. I'm back where I'm the queen. All right. So success is in my DNA. When one door closes, another one opens. I thought this was good. And I don't know if back in the day when this first happened, would I have been like, yes, this is great. I don't know if I would have been like that either. This is not bad. Out of 10, how would you guys rate it? I would probably give it, I keep thinking 7. So I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7. Yeah, no, I kind of like it, though. Success is in my DNA. When one door closes, another one opens. I'm going to give it an 8. There we go. I'm going to give it an 8. How about you guys rating it? Ooh, a 10, 10, 10, 8. All right, 9. Ooh, Sunflower says 9. I always say it along with her. Success is in my DNA. When one door closes, another one opens. All right. Thank you so much. RD Van, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. The V Life got a membership. His Bookie got a membership. Superstar 7 got a membership. Thank you guys so much for that. That's really generous of you guys. I appreciate it. I love how it just, the impact of giving inspires more giving. Thank you. We appreciate that. And be sure to check out, if the new members, check out all the little cool things that come with being a member, including the emojis, but also some of the videos maybe that you haven't seen that are only members. Okay? So that was Nene. So be sure to let me know how you guys would rate that. Candy's tagline from season 6. Music may be my passion, but family is forever. When you get to see Candy's storyline, this is where I got excited though, because I know a lot of you do not like Mama Joyce, but Mama Joyce really was an important, integral part of Candy's years on this show. And this is when she's just like, I heard on the word on the streets. So her, there's a lot of stuff that happens this season when it comes to Mama Joyce and Candy being in her feelings about Mama Joyce dragging Todd all the time. It's so funny though when you look back, because all of y'all dragged Todd back then. I probably did too. I don't remember. But a lot of people drag Todd. But now when you look at how long they've been together, this is season 6, y'all. It's now we're going on season 17. And remember, there have been long pauses in between. Okay? Oh, y'all get that, in regard. Yeah, this is not a great tagline for Candy. Music may be my passion, but family is forever. A lot of what's going on in Candy's life in season 6 will be about getting, she's engaged to Todd, the mama drama issues. Riley, we get to see a scene with Riley. I don't remember what episode. It might have been like episode 3 or episode 4. I can't remember. Where Riley talks about her relationship with Todd because Mama Joyce alludes that Riley doesn't like Todd. Riley is very, you see this on Next Gen NYC too. She's very direct with when she has something to say, but she's also a little dry. She's dry like Candy in a lot of ways. But it's also really interesting. It was always them for such a long time because in season 6, Candy did not give birth to Ace yet. He's not even a sparkle in her eye at this particular point. So that's interesting. We will get back to that. Cynthia Bailey's tagline. I see a lot of you did not like Candy's tagline. Me either. It was kind of blah. It was blah. Cynthia Bailey. Cynthia looks amazing in season. Cynthia is beautiful. I just want to say that. Cynthia is beautiful. But Cynthia is gorgeous in season 6. I mean, she was gorgeous before, but because some of the makeup, I have to say, a lot of the makeup in season 6, including Kenya, was not great. But Cynthia Bailey's makeup, although it might have been a little heavy-handed, she had the best makeup for me in season 6. But that's me, someone that doesn't wear makeup. You guys will have a difference of opinion. That's okay. That doesn't mean you can come to me and be like, Kempire, you're wrong. No, this is my opinion. Cynthia looked great in season 6 for me, even though she was with. Why does Peter look older in season 6 than he does now? Like, he looks the same, but he looks so old. Not so old, but he looks like older. Did he get like Botox or something in later years? I don't know. He looks better now than he did back then, even though he looks the same. I know some people look the same, but go back and watch season 6. Season 6, Peter looks, But okay. Cynthia's tagline for season 6. My business is beauty and I'm the boss. I don't hate it. I don't think it's as blah as Candy's. She says, my business is beauty and I'm the boss. So remember, at this particular point, she had the Bailey agency. At the top of season 6, we see Cynthia moving out of the Bailey agency and moving into this space that Peter bought without telling her. Peter bought this space, okay? Damn, Bella says it's called Stress Kempire. But is he less stressful in the later years? I mean, that's good that he looks even better, but I don't know. Maybe he was stressed back then. So, yeah, so Peter, he had bought that space without telling Cynthia. Fast forward to 2025, where he calls Cynthia deceitful for not, and she was, come on, for not telling him about what went down at the wedding with the sister and the mother hiding the marriage certificate. But when you look at this, 6 months he bought this space, and he bought the space with their money. It wasn't just his money. He bought the space with her money as well and didn't tell her for 6 months. So she had to let go of this Bailey agency space so she can move it over to utilize this other space. Peter's been having bad business moves for forever. For forever. Someone on social media, I don't remember what they said exactly, but there's one Peter stan on X, because the way that they were able to come up with a delusional saying that he is a successful business person. He's going to jail. Well, no, he's in jail now. He's in federal prison for fraud. All of his business locations are now closed. I was so like, what? But this is why you can't argue with people on social media. Okay? You can't argue with people because people are delusional. I wish I had the tweet in front of me because I was like, wait a minute, what? But okay. But I will say when I look at Cynthia and Peter's relationship, I always think about what Nene says about Cynthia, even in the most recent interview that they did where Cynthia gathered Peter together. When you watch season 6, you're like, oh, that is what Nene was talking about. You kind of see, she definitely gives a persona during the season where, oh, she's sweet and light and, but there is that other side of Cynthia, and you kind of see glimmers of it in season 6. At least within the first 4 episodes, I noticed it. Toya says Peter was never that guy. Paula says Peter is a shady businessman. I think we kind of knew it back then. Remember, that was like the running joke for a while. I think it just really caught up with him. He never really got on the up and up when it comes to his business. Not Pyramid Peter. Where was that back in season 6 when we needed that as a catchphrase? Okay. Hey, Toya, what's going on? All right. So how would you guys rate Cynthia Bailey's? My business is beauty and I'm the boss. Well, I prefer did I give Candice a rating? I'm going to give Candice a 5. That might be generous. A 4. I'm going to give Cynthia a 6.5. 6.5. Portia's tagline was, I am still standing and I am making my own rules. Is that a tagline? I am still standing and I'm making my own rules. That's a tagline? Did I get this wrong? That can't be her tagline. That was her tagline? I am still standing and I am making my own rules. Well, we have to remember, this is her getting over her divorce. Like, she's in the middle of her divorce at the top of season 6. I don't like this at all. This is probably the worst one so far. Even worse than Candice. And Candice was pretty bad. I'm giving it a 3. And look, the Porsha haters would be like, oh no, the Porsha, the peach juices, they would be like, I'm a hater. No, this is bad. This was bad, y'all. Come on. Because it's just so regular. But I get it in the premise of what she's going through, but this is not good. I don't like that one. They could have given her a better one. Phaedra Parks. A true Southern belle knows her worth, and I am priceless. You know what saves Phaedra? It's her delivery of her tagline. I can literally hear her say this. Even that her tagline isn't that great, it's her delivery of the tagline. She says, I am a true Southern belle. A true Southern belle knows her worth, and I'm priceless. Ooh, yes. I mean, honestly, when you read it regular, a true Southern belle knows her worth, and I am priceless. No, but when you read it in Phaedra's voice, it gives it a little bit more. Sage says, it's the cadence, yes. I have to say, the early years of Phaedra, I actually like seeing Phaedra and Candy be friends. It's so crazy to see where the friendship ends up, where they're no longer friends, because they were so close. And Candy rode hard for Phaedra. Like, she couldn't stand Kenya. She didn't like the fact that Kenya was flirting with Apollo. I remember those years where I don't know where they ended up finding a friendship where today that they're actually friends. But wait till we get to Kenya. Okay. So how would you guys rate Phaedra's tagline? All right. Tagline 9, Phaedra 2, CYs. Well, no, I have to say, no. We have to unpack Phaedra from season 6. Deshae says, I love Kemp's Phaedra voice. Ooh, yes. I love it because I can hear her say this. Kenya's tagline. So there was only 2, 4, Oh no, there were 6 housewives this season. Season 6. Okay? So Kenya's tagline, people may think they have me figured out, but I am always the wild card. I don't mind this. But I will say this. Because I couldn't remember like how I felt about Kenya in the early years. Okay? I appreciate what Kenya's offered the show. So remember, in season 6, it's Kenya and Porsha's second season. Season 5 is where we had Walter, only for Dr. Simone confirming what was a couple of months ago, or more than a couple of months ago on Watch What Happens Live, that Walter was actually allegedly, I'm going to still allegedly, was paid by Kenya to be on the show. Well, at the top of the season, Nene and Kenya are not seeing it for each other because Nene invited Walter to her wedding. You remember they had a wedding special because remember Nene got divorced from may he rest in peace, Greg, and then they got married and there was a whole special for it. Well, all of that happened right before season 6. So they flash back and they show Walter at the wedding. Nene wanted to make excuses for why she invited Walter. However, Nene invited Walter because she was being messy. Can we just say that? I don't know how you felt back when season 6 was airing, but she was being messy. Because why would you invite Walter? Who cares about Walter? Lavender says Dr. Simone's still a hater. I don't know if she was hating in that moment, though. Right? Because isn't he related to Cecil's family? I forgot what the relation is. All right? All Sans says that her tagline, Kenya's tagline, is still relevant today. Tiara says that Kenya's tagline didn't really match her storyline, whatever it was this. Whatever that was this season, struggle bus. Well, no. Well, I guess we'll have to see by the end of season 6. So, how would you guys rate Kenya's tagline from 1 to 10? People may think they have me figured out, but I am always the wild card. Cecil's nephew. Thank you so much, the V Life. I couldn't remember what the relation was. Here's the thing. The tagline actually fits because watching episodes 1 through 4 of season 6, I was like, oh, Kenya comes across a little nutty. If you rewatched it with me, if you watched season 6, Kenya came up, first of all, Kenya was being alienated from the group. She barely filmed with a lot of the people. She had a couple of group scenes, but based off the first 4 episodes, I was like, oh, where's Kenya? Why isn't Kenya with the rest of the group? Because at this particular point, at the reunion, season 5 reunion, that is where Apollo accused Kenya of trying to sleep with him. And everyone in the group was sort of like, oh, Kenya. And we get to see some of the text messages in, I think, episode 3 or 4, where Candy gets to read the text messages from Kenya to Apollo. And Candy was like, this text message where you're like referring to as babe, that's inappropriate to be sending to a married man. And a lot of you would say that is inappropriate. Britt says Kenya is her biggest fan. All right. Perfectly Blended says that Kenya's tagline also fits season 16. Also in season 6, Kenya's being evicted. She wins, because remember Kenya? But the reason why I say that Kenya, and I know I feel like I'm jumping around, but all of it's tied together. But we can start with Kenya. Kenya was being evicted by her then landlord, Kanya, who attended the event at Porsha's event where she referred to Kenya as Miss America, not Miss USA. Kanya went to the event with Kenya. So that Kanya was her landlord, but her landlord ends up evicting Kenya, but Kenya won in court. And Kenya was talking to Freddie O and the other 3 paparazzi outside the courthouse, talking about how she won. So, Kenya. When Kenya was packing up, because remember, Kenya ends up calling the police on Kenya. Because Kenya ends up she's packing up, but she claims that she has until 5 o'clock. Kenya says she has until 3. How in the hell? I mean, I guess you can get 911 phone calls, but the fact that production got the 911 phone call that Kenya made, trying to get Kenya out the house, I was like, Okay, production. They got the 911 call where Kanya had to describe Kenya. She's like, black female, medium build, fake contacts, implants. I was like, weave. Damn, Kanya. So I don't know if Kenya had it right, but let me just tell you this. When Kenya was packing up and she found Kanye's wedding dress, and she decided she was going to put that wedding dress on and twerk on up and down that house. First of all, she was twerking when she first got there. Brandon was there. Remember Shay, her cousin, the only one with sense when they were packing up. She was there. I always think to myself, like, what happened to her aunt? Whatever happened to her cousin? We don't really see them in the later years, okay? But I'm telling you, a screw wasn't all there with Kenya. She kept on referring, she had that big line from the previous year. What was it? Because she said it so damn much in season 6. Let me think. What was it? Oh my gosh, she kept on saying it, and then Nene said, you need to come up with a new line. This is a new year. Come up with a new line. You guys will remember. I can't think of it right now. So I'm just like, but she's like she's twerking on I'm twerking on the piano. I'm twerking on and I'm like, what's wrong with Kenya? Look. Oh, thank you. V Spencer says she tried to kick me out, but I'm still... But that's what probably made Kenya like TV gold, made production want her on the show, because her aunt did not pass. No, her aunt's still alive and well. Look, Gone with the Wind. Well, how could I forget that? She kept on saying, I'm gone with the wind, fabulous. I'm like, okay, all right. So what else? Okay, so the biggest issue in the first 4 episodes of season 6 when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta, for those that are just joining us, we are revisiting these older seasons. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to spread the word that we're doing this. We're watching season 6. You still have time to catch up. Some of you probably just watched it. Some of you probably remember all the details. So the main storyline for Kenya in these first 4 episodes is this. She was being evicted. This is where we get the white refrigerator comment, because she was evicted from the house that she had. She wasn't evicted. Technically, she won that case. She decided to move out. Because you already know Team Toro, but like, she wasn't evicted. Calm down, y'all. She ends up moving out, okay? She ends up moving out regardless. The other storyline, when it comes to her and the rest of the group, she felt like the group didn't check on her with everything she was going on with her. She had a couple of scenes in season 6 with Nene, which I thought was interesting. Not a lot with anyone else in the group, but rightfully so. Her and Phaedra had the falling out over the booty video, okay? And because of the whole Apollo. What was Apollo doing in LA anyway? Doing business? Look, business? So one of the tweets I posted over the weekend, because I was watching this, was, when exactly did... And mind you, this was more of a rhetorical question, but everyone answered it. But I didn't say it was a rhetorical question, because I kind of knew, or I had my suspicions as to why Phaedra ends up marrying Apollo. A lot of people have speculated it was because she got pregnant by accident. Some people speculate, she wanted, even though Apollo had nothing going on for him. Because in season 6, Apollo's not working. Apollo is fixing up the house. Apollo's not working. They got 2 babies in season 6. They got the president and they got the prince. All right, adorable. It's so crazy when you see they're all grown up now. They went to China. That's the one thing about Phaedra. Her and those kids, that will always be a sweet spot for a lot of us watching Real Housewives of Atlanta. So they went to China. Natim says running a Ponzi scheme in LA. Because I'm thinking, like, what are you doing in LA without Phaedra? He said he was there doing business. Fast forward, probably was it season 7? Fast forward, he's going to jail. So, okay, I guess we can revisit this. I'm not going to delve into it. But when I look at their relationship in these early years, first of all, I'm sort of like, what did Phaedra see in this man? A well-educated woman, I mean, we do know the Angela Stanton of it all, but those are allegations. But we also find out this man was doing criminal activity. People speculate whether or not Phaedra knew anything. Phaedra has not been charged with anything. She's not served time. All of that is done and over with. Some people speculate. Okay, I'm not going to get into speculation. Come to the DC show and we can speculate all we want. Okay, in person. All right, but I kind of look at and people on Twitter were answering my question over the weekend saying, "Oh, she wanted him because he was light skinned and good looking," and I mean maybe it's all of that, or maybe it was something a little bit more sordid. The Angela Stanton PDF on Amazon of it all. Who got it? Look, send it to me so I can reread it. I remember the interview that Angela Stanton did. I will say this. When you listen to what Angela Stanton had to say, this former friend of the couple, Phaedra and Apollo, a lot of what she says makes more sense than what we watch on Real Housewives of Atlanta. What we watch on Real Housewives of Atlanta, you're like, what is this? Especially when you watch it now, you're like, what? Huh? But then when you hear Angela Stanton give context, you're like, oh, well, that might make a little bit more sense. I'm not saying that it's true, but I'm just like, that make a little, But okay, I don't know. I still do not know what Phaedra may have seen besides being demonetized. And I don't mean demon, I mean, fill in the blanks, okay? Lord. Clever Lady says, wasn't Phaedra involved in his shady dealings? She has never been proven to be involved. Those were allegations made by a former associate. We have to cover ourselves legally, all right? And she's never faced charges. Maybe Apollo took that charge for them. I don't know. But okay. But when you look at their relationship, it's kind of weird because throughout the first 4 episodes of season 6, you see sort of like the up and down of the relationship. You see where he's trying to fix things around the house. She's trying to deal with a newborn and a toddler running around the house. The house is under construction. She wants things a certain way. He wants it one way. And she's like, she doesn't like that. But she's calling the shots because she's probably paying the bills. This is also while she's in school, mortuary school. Yes, come on, y'all. I want to refresh your brain on what's going on in season 6. She's in mortuary school. And someone had a really good theory on go to my Twitter, go to X, go to the tweet that I posted about Phaedra over the weekend. Go read the comments. There is a interesting speculation as to why Phaedra may have gone to mortuary school. It's speculation, though. It's speculation. But I was like, wait a minute. All of us were like, wait a minute. Especially when you think about what Apollo went to jail for. Wasn't some of that identity theft? Allegedly. Not allegedly. He got convicted. He got convicted. Okay. Teresa says, my girl Phaedra is multifaceted and extremely successful. Yeah. Hence why we're sort of like, Apollo? You can't be that. Well, I guess she was. I don't want to say she was young. She wasn't young. She wasn't really that young. She's probably she looked older, the Angela Oakley of it all. She actually looked a lot older than Angela on her first season, if we're looking at it. Right? Hey, Southern Bombshell, thank you so much. But yeah. Let me start at the top. And I will be posting the call link for you guys to call in. I'll post the call link for Twitch first and then for members. We're just doing a little bonus for our Twitch fam. Be sure to follow us guys on Twitch, twitch.tv/TheKempire. We're doing our special news show here on Mondays where we're rewatching some of your favorite reality television shows. It's called The Rewind, Rewatch, Recap with me, Kempire. Okay. D. Brown says Apollo was fine. Apollo's still fine. But when you think about everything that Apollo has done, when I look at their relationship, let me just get this thought through. when you look at their relationship during the first 4 episodes, there were some moments where they're bumping heads. Phaedra always loved to do a photo shoot. Phaedra was always very extra. So they're about to get ready for this photo shoot, and he clearly doesn't want to do it. We hear them on the hot mic get into an argument. He's like, "You always are doing this. You don't tell me." I've never looked at Apollo and Phaedra like he really loved her or liked her. In episode 4, they sit down for a dinner where they talk about the whole Kenya text stuff, and she's just like, "You shouldn't be texting my friends." Before they even get to the Kenya conversation, you see Apollo like with this fake like grin on his face, like, "Hey, you don't have any time for me." It felt so performative. It felt so fake. I don't know. Foxy says Apollo's still a player. Yeah, literally, his current wife has accused him, well, not just accused him, we've seen it on the ring cam, him cheating. I just thought, when you think about this man went to jail, okay, he went to jail, not once, prison, went to prison twice. In a span of how many years? And Watson says Apollo's response was disgusting. In regards to the Kenya stuff, when he was saying that Kenya wanted to sleep with him, and he's like, she didn't necessarily say it, but you know when you can get the vibe. Do you think anything ever happened? I know later on, Apollo backtracked on the things that he accused Kenya of. So Kenya said, I was vindicated in regards to that. Naomi says 2 Scorpios should not be together. Excuse me, both my parents are Scorpios. And they're no longer together. I don't know. They say normally it will work, right? So wait, Apollo's a Scorpio? Is that what you're telling me? Because then that makes me look at the relationship a little bit differently. It makes me look at the relationship a little bit differently. Candace says, not the ring cam. Candace, go do me a favor and go to YouTube. I mean, you're on YouTube, and search the video that I did where I even show you the ring cam, I believe, and I walk you through it. Okay. All right. Let me move on. Let me start. I don't want to go through episode by episode, but I just want to kind of give you a synopsis just in case I forget something. So, in episode 1, it's called Bye Bye with the Wind. Okay. Porsha is going through her divorce. This is where she meets up with her divorce attorney, okay? And so she's going through her divorce from Cordell Stewart. This is where, in episode 1, everything is good with Porsha in her head. That everything, like she thinks that possibly she could hash things out with Cordell. She still has hope, at least in episode 1. But by episode 4, she's calling him basically... Basically, that's what she's saying about Cordell. Like, Miss Diane, if y'all thought she was vocal this past season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, she was very vocal in season 6. She was hollering, okay? She was hollering, talking about how because remember, Porsha had a miscarriage with Cordell. So when she was in the hospital, apparently Cordell didn't go. See, that's why I say Cordell's not necessarily innocent. So that's when Miss Diane started running with the narrative, oh, you were just there to keep up appearances. He just wanted to have this beautiful woman on his arm. Because during the first 4 episodes, Porsha also talks about how she felt ashamed when she would go to the doctor. She's like, I don't understand why you're not pregnant. But she says she was too embarrassed to tell the doctor, like, well... he's not sleeping with me. He was not. So she's alluding in the first 4 episodes that Cordell was gay. Because remember, there were the rumors about Cordell. Was Cordell the one with the park incident? That was, right? Oh. Called it, said that big bubble butt. Paula says that Cordell was so stank. But I'm telling you, I don't think Cordell was innocent. Please understand, I'm not saying that Cordell was innocent. But I kind of look at Porsha a little bit differently now that we've gotten to know Porsha and how Porsha moves. But I also think what happened with Cordell shaped who Porsha is today. Why you look at her divorce from Simon and why Simon was like, I was blindsided. Teresa said, Park? Google it, Teresa. Oh, but okay, let me take a sip. Please hold. Let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, I'm not even going through some of what y'all saying in the chat. Let me focus. So back to Porsha and Cordell. So in episode 1, it looks like she's crying the same way she was crying over Simon in the same lawyer's office. She was crying harder, though, with the Cordell of it all. Probably was more real then. Right? Okay. Wait, I'm getting distracted by y'all comments in the comment section. Nateem says that Cordell did give DL vibes. Laughing out loud joke. Were you really joking? Based off of what Porsha says about him in the episode 2 and 3 and 4, she basically, okay, so there was a conversation. Okay, let me take my time. This is why I feel like I'm all over the place, because there's so much that happens, okay? Hold on. Wait, Caesar says, I remember Funky Dineva reporting on that park incident, and didn't Cordell send pictures? I don't know. Allegedly. Okay? I don't know. Okay, a couple of things. So there's a scene. I don't remember what episode it's in, but it's in the first 4 episodes, okay? Maybe the 3rd episode. Candy goes over Portia's house. Candy talks about how Porsha, she's partied with Porsha. And I'm thinking to myself, is this when she kissed Porsha in the club? Or Porsha kissed Candy in the club? And remember, that came up during the reunion, this past reunion of Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16. Because she was talking about hanging out with Porsha after her, split from Cordell. I was like, is this when they hooked up? I guess that would make sense, because when does things turn south? Is it next season, season 7? Singer says that Cordell wanted Porsha to be a Stepford wife. Basically, he wanted her to cook, clean. You saw that story recently. See, this we end up talking about other things in pop culture. You saw the recent story with Halle Berry's ex-husband, the baseball player, talking about he decided to get a divorce from Halle because she wouldn't cook or clean. Halle Berry wouldn't cook or clean, so he was like, yeah, she can't be the mother of my children. But what we find out in the first 4 episodes of season 6 of Real Housewives of Atlanta, we find out that Porsha was making, remember in season 5, she made it. That's why I have to give Porsha credit. She really tried to protect Cordell, his image, in season 5. Season 6, episode 1, she was still kind of doing that. However, by episode 2, 3, and 4, based on what was happening when it comes to their divorce proceedings, she was like dropping all the tea. She was saying she had to borrow money from her mother because Cordell basically would not give her money. So this is why she asked Simon for a monthly allowance. She said she was not going to end up like she did before. And I wouldn't be surprised that Porsha took some of that monthly allowance and put the money to the side. If anything, Porsha really was smart in this second divorce. Come on, we have to give her credit. She learned from what happened with her and Cordell. Cordell was not giving her a monthly allowance, so she had no money. Sometimes she'd be out there and she wouldn't have any money. Okay? Let me see. Perfect says it would have happened in season 7 or 8 because they talked about it in season 9. I guess we'll have to see. See, and this was something that they also talked about in regards. April says, wasn't he the one that hit her so bad that she's deaf in one ear? That was something that he talked about. He says that he was not the one. And from what I recall, I don't want to say who it was, but he wasn't the one. It was actually an earlier relationship. But y'all can talk about it in the comment section. But yeah, I don't want to say, because I kind of know who it was, but yeah. Exactly. KSS says Cordell not giving Porsha money and pretty much controlling her funds was financial abuse. This is probably before we even knew what that looked like or what that was back then. But now we do. So now we understand why Porsha was like to Simon, give me, I want a monthly allowance. You're going to put my name on this house. She learned from this divorce. And probably her attorney probably gave her the heads up on how to handle this. Okay? All right. What else happened in episode 1 that I wanted to talk about? Oh. So one of the big parties that happens in episode 1 is Cynthia's big opening of the Bailey agency at the new location, because what we do see is her moving out of the old location. I mentioned to you before that Peter bought this new space with her money and didn't tell her for 6 months. But she still stood by her man. She still stood by her man. So this is where you get to see the first group scene, and everyone sees Kenya for the first time in a while. I have to say, the first 4 episodes, Kenya really is alienated from the rest of the group. And it's probably based off of everything that happened. I mean, not probably. It's based off of everything that happened in season 5 and her apparently flirting with Apollo. But Apollo was flirting back, I think, in my head. We also get to see when Cynthia's moving out of the Old Bailey studio space. Remember Carlton? Carlton was on, what was it, Love is Blind? Talking about he wanted to be with a woman. Remember that? Carlton, go back. He was a part of the Bailey agency. Exactly. And the team says the Bailey agency party became about Nene and Kenya. That's where they ended up having an argument. Okay. What else did I want to talk about in episode 1 before? Just because I feel like a lot of the themes are intertwined in the first 4 episodes. I don't want to dwell too much on like the nitty gritty of each episode. I'll say, so in episode 2 is when Kenya goes to court with the eviction, and she ends up winning in court. However, she does decide, because her lease is up, to move out. This is where we see her, put on Kanye's wedding dress. That's so weird. Even her own cousin was just like, what are you doing? Why do you have this woman's dress on? And she's dancing and twerking and singing. And I'm like, oh my goodness, girl. But okay. I mean, this is what, her second season of how many seasons she was on Real Housewives of Atlanta. But I have to say, one of my takeaways in the first 4 episodes, I was like, Kenya is a little unhinged, a little nutty. And I think I always thought that in those early seasons, but it's really interesting to see Kenya from those years versus Kenya in maybe like the last couple of years. But then when you see what Kenya did on season 16, you're like, well, maybe it was always there. Look, maybe it was always there. And she just learned how to navigate it a little bit differently in the later years. Okay. But again, when I say to you, it's so interesting when you're looking at season 6 versus season 16, where we have Porsha getting a divorce, Kenya getting evicted. All right. And Watson says Kenya's a lot unhinged. Well, you definitely see it in season 6. Those first few episodes, I like cringed. I was like, why is Kenya acting this way? And then she kept on saying her tagline over and over again. Like, not her tagline, but like one of her taglines from season 5, she kept on saying it over and over again. I was like, what is going on right now? Okay. Porsha's mom. So you guys see that Porsha's current home, remember she ends up buying this home after the Cordell divorce, but she ends up having her mom move into it when she moved in with Simon. But her mom used to have her own, big house. So Porsha moves in with her mom. This is when her mom always spoiled Porsha. And a lot of people say that Portia's the way that she is because of her mother. Season 6 is where you see it. You get a better understanding. But Porsha moves out from living with Cordell into moving in with her mom. Her mom gives her the master bedroom. I don't know why she would do that, but okay. But we also see the mom talk about Cordell. She's the first one to drop the tea on Cordell that the only reason why he got married to Porsha was to have this woman on his arm. She also dropped the tea about Porsha having the miscarriage and he wasn't there. That stood out to me. No matter how we feel about Porsha, what stood out to me was, wait, she had a miscarriage and Cordell wasn't there? I was like, oh, okay. So no matter how we might feel about Porsha, Cordell wasn't innocent. He wasn't innocent. Shonda called her Dirty Diana. Stop. Mr. Melamash said Miss Diane was Porsha in the 80s and the 90s. I mean, that is her mama. That is her mama. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Don't forget, you can also hear our live recaps and special episodes exclusively on the Kempire podcast. And you never know, I might add new content to those episodes. Just saying. So make sure that you're subscribed to the Kempire podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Shout out to our Spotify growing community. We appreciate you guys as well. Oh, thank you for reminding me. So what I was getting to in regards to Candy and Porsha. So when Candy goes over to Porsha's mom's house to go check on her, I told you, like, I kind of like, is this around the time when Candy and Porsha hooked up? But when they were having this conversation, Candy asked, like, you know, Cordell never hit you. As I said to you before, the first episode, Porsha is like, maybe her and Cordell can work things out. By episode 2, 3, and 4, Porsha was like, he was a queen. He might have been gay. He might have hit me. Because when Candy asked her that, there's a big pause. You guys notice that? There was a long pause. Do you think that he did something? Why did she pause that way? Or do you think that she was being strategic by putting it out there and alluding something? I don't know. Because if we're talking about financial abuse and maybe emotional abuse, who's to say that it didn't get physical? I don't know. But that pause was quite telling. Just saying. I'm not saying that people can't be strategic in regards to that, but the pause was like, JSP says she paused and then cried, didn't she? Did she cry? I don't think she cried. No. She didn't cry. She didn't cry about that. If she did end up crying, but it wasn't immediate because I remember they made a little bit of a joke about it. You know, like he may have shook me a little bit or something like that. But yeah. Diana says that she was alluding to something. That's the pause alluded to something. Even Candy was just like, that was a pause. But again, if we're talking about financial abuse, emotional abuse, who's to say? Exactly. Perfectly blended says he talked to her harshly on camera. When they were flashing back in season 6, I'm like, he wasn't very likable. He did seem like, it wouldn't shock me. I think he treated Porsha like his child. Is that why Porsha ended up with Simon? She wanted someone that didn't talk, you know, he didn't have like bass in his voice. You know what I mean? It was like complete opposite. She said, I am never going to do what I did in that relationship. I'm going to marry a man with, like, it's like this. Very even, like, monotone. You know what I mean? Like, nothing. Because Cordell's like, he was like a little rough, right? Do you guys think that he did in regards to like the physical accusation with that pause? Oh, Shonda says Porsha paused so she wouldn't get sued by Cordell. Maybe she felt like that would be too far because what she would go on to say later on in these next couple of episodes, I was like, wait a minute. Okay. Superstar 7 says, you will never know the conviction of a wife. She really defended Cordell a lot in season 5. But in season 6, she was like, F him. All right, let's move on from there. So Porsha moves back in with her mom in episode 2 of season 6. All right, and we see her adjusting to that. Okay. And then then we have Cynthia. Cynthia's going through, you remember, I remember this like, it was like yesterday, where people thought that Cynthia was pregnant, but she was just dealing with fibroids. Here's another relationship that I was just like, the red flags were always there with Peter. The way that he spoke to Cynthia when she was crying and feeling fat, and she was said because of the fibroids, she was eating certain things, and he was like, well, I guess you're not going to be a model anymore. And I'm thinking to myself, like, just the way that he responded to her physical health at the time, Peter was never a nice guy either. Peter might have been worse than any of the other husbands that we've seen on this show. Is he worse than Ralph? Look, I don't know if he's worse than Ralph. Look, I don't know if he's worse than Ralph. But the way that he handled the fibroid conversation, I was just like, I got so many icks watching it. I was like, what is going on right now? Why is he reacting this way? Why is he not being more sensitive? Because she's talking about her fibroids, about what the blogs are saying, that she looks pregnant. She's talking about, he's like, well, you need to work out. He's like, when I work out, it, triggers my, what did she say? I forgot what it is. The iron deficiency. So she was just like, and it triggers that. So she gets really emotional because he's not being sensitive. That's the one thing about Peter. He's never been sensitive. K Baby says Peter body shamed her. Mind you, she's been a model her entire life, but this is the one time in her life where it's just like she couldn't control it in regards to what the fibroids were doing to her stomach. She says she's been dealing with fibroids for a long time, but this was the first time that it affected her stomach this way. So what we do find out, I think it's maybe in episode 3, or no, maybe it's episode 2, that she goes to the doctor and the doctor gives her a recommendation to go in for surgery. But there was the possibility, anemia, thank you so much, Mama Allie. She thought that she would have to get a hysterectomy. And when she talked about this with Peter, he was so insensitive, not realizing how traumatic a hysterectomy is to a woman's body and what that means. Not even just what it means to the body, but what it means to the mind in regards to like, oh, I can no longer have children kind of thing. Toya says Jamaican men are not sensitive. Well, Caribbean men are not sensitive. Oh, that's not far from the truth. Jazz says that those fibroids flared up because of Peter and that stress. Because we also have to keep in mind, I think she downplayed it. I told you at the top of season 6, Cynthia talks about having to move out of the Bailey agency location because Peter bought this other location with her money. So I'm sure that did not help. Didn't help. We also get to see, I think it's in episode 4 or episode 3, that we get to see Cynthia's daughter, Noelle. And I'm looking at Noelle. She's so young here. I'm like, look how she's a perfect combination of Leon and Cynthia. Gorgeous. So she's talking about having a boyfriend. This is important to note because the boyfriend situation comes up later when it comes to an issue between Nene and Cynthia. So you remember that? So that ends up coming up later. I think I'm pretty sure this season. But I have to look. We can get into. I never am going to critique someone on how they parent their child unless they're being abusive. Everyone's going to have different stance on when their child can date or have a boyfriend or girlfriend. And that's not for me to judge or to say when that's possible. So that does come up later when it comes to an issue with Nene and Cynthia. But in the top of season 6, Nene and Cynthia are tight. I actually like seeing their friendship. It really is, when you look back and you're seeing the friendship between Cynthia and Nene and Candy and Phaedra, it was like, oh, I didn't mind it because they seemed genuine. That's the difference, because they were genuine friendships, not just what we see now where people are just in alliances and they're not hanging out outside of the show. No, Candy and Phaedra were hanging out outside the show. Like, they were close. Nene and Cynthia, they talked about it recently in recent interviews. They were super close, so close that Peter was annoyed every time Cynthia would be on the phone with Nene. So Nene comes over after Cynthia has her surgery to check on her. She's like, come on, girl, we're going to Neiman Marcus. So, like, it's actually, and that's what a lot of people keep asking. What do you think needs to happen on these reality shows? You need reality. You need real friends, not people that are just brought together to film. And sometimes real friendships can be sparked because remember, Nene and Cynthia didn't know each other before the show. They were brought together and they hung out beforehand and they developed a real friendship. So we get to see Cynthia's health issues play out in episode 2. Nene in episode 2 calls Kenya out for breaking girl code when it comes to the whole Apollo of it all. So that's the main theme of the first 4 episodes, is why the group is really kind of alienating Kenya because of the whole Apollo of it all. So Nene meets up with Kenya to kind of be like, girl, that's not cool. That's inappropriate. All right. Mama Joyce. Mama Joyce, Mama Joyce, Mama Joyce. Mama Joyce has come a long way too because she looks great. She looks great now. You know what I mean? Like when you see her evolution. So Candy's mother, Mama Joyce, remains skeptical of Todd because the streets have been telling her that he is not to be trusted. Okay? He's not to be trusted. And she warns her daughter not to let Todd take advantage of her. We also have to remember in this early part of the season, her mom she was looking for a home for her mom, and she ends up giving her mom her old house. So they end up having a conversation about Todd, and the mom says, oh, she doesn't like him. The streets have been talking, blah, 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 blah. And then she brings up Candy's ring. Mind you, when they said that Candy's ring was $7,500, I was like, that's not bad. What do they say your engagement ring should be? It's supposed to be like multiple paychecks or something like that. I was thinking to myself, I was like, $7,500 is not bad for a ring. And when you look at the ring, it wasn't a bad ring. So Candy's just like, I'm not about all of these things. And then her mom was like, you should be with I forgot what profession she mentioned. And she was like, Todd makes more than all those people. But when you look at where they began, Candy and Todd, versus where they are today, you don't hear any issues in their relationship. I think you might hear a rumor here and there. I mean, based off the show, you heard rumors then. Because what was his name while he was here in New York? But they are still going strong. 2 kids later, multiple businesses, Broadway shows, Tony nominations, together. Oh, Jamaki says $7,500 is bad? Well, guess what? For gay men, we only got to get bands and stuff like that. And $7,500 for a band, you know that sucker's going to be like blinged out. Okay? Marvin was like, thank you so much, Sierra. You guys are going to help me with some of the things that have happened over the years. His name was Marvin here in New York. But despite all, Mama Joyce not liking Todd, despite that, they made it through. 2 kids later, 2 grown kids that are actually close, both Riley and, I apologize for remembering Todd's daughter's name right now. Okay? The fact that they're close here in New York to the point where she actually filmed with Riley on Next Gen. So it's just crazy when you look back at it and see how far they've come. Oh, it's 3 months. A 3-month salary? Well, it depends on how much you're making. How much is Todd making? So how much should that have been? But Candy said to her mom, that's where Candy got into the, how Candy gets when her emotional cry. Kayla, thank you so much. I love how all the comments come through. I should really be looking here on Twitch because you guys get me together. Thank you, Angel. Angel's watching on Twitch as well. Kayla is Todd's daughter. Oh, so we're going to get to see Todd's mom. May she rest in peace. But yeah, when you look at how far this couple has come, despite Candy's mother, who Candy is super close with. So this had to be hard. And remember, the issues between Mama Joyce and Todd are not that far from long ago. Yes, this episode is years ago. But remember, the Todd stuff came up again. When did it come up? Was the season 15? Was it season 15? Was it season 15 it came up? So when Mama Joyce brings up her ring, like sort of downgrading the ring, Candy gets into the shaky crying voice. She's like, this is the ring that I wanted. I'm not about all what you like all these fancy things, but this was the ring that I wanted. And I think a lot of us did not see it for Todd. I think a lot of it, because some of y'all are going to try and act all different now because you see where the relationship is. I don't remember how I felt about Todd. I think I still was giving him the side eye, like, Because even Don Juan, in one of these episodes, like episode 3 or something like that, Don Juan was like, we are a little concerned. We are a little concerned that if you marry Todd, if we're going to get a paycheck. I don't think he meant it like that. I think Don Juan was concerned that maybe things would change with Todd coming, especially because Todd wasn't just coming in and getting married to Candy. He was coming in and doing business with Candy. You know what I mean? So, all right, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's easy and it's free. We're almost at 500 likes. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate the super chats and the Venmos and the Cash Apps, guys. We normally see those after the live. Kendra says, Peter is the epitome of an F-boy. Before we even started using F-boy, the fact that he still speaks negatively on her while owing her $170,000, I think they figured that out. Because remember, she sued him a couple of years ago. The judge would have had to close the doors until I got my money. Clickety clank, Karen's boy. I think they settled that because remember she was even on his podcast before he went to prison. So yeah. But I said this on social media when Peter came out and was just like he felt that she was deceptive during that season where she didn't tell him about the whole mom and sister doing what they did. And yes, it was deceptive, but I was like, every time Cynthia's asked about Peter, she's always gracious. She doesn't revisit the past. She doesn't talk about any of that stuff. Always gracious. He can never be. He's just always messy. But anyway. Yeah, Cynthia had to sue Peter because he had owed her money. I don't know what the finalization of that. I'm assuming she ended up getting her money. Maybe he decided, maybe that's part of the reason why he's in jail. He, stealing from Peter to pay Paul. You know what I mean? Or stealing from Paul to pay Peter. Lord. All right, y'all. I've been talking a lot. I am going to bring some callers up. But if you are a member of the channel, before the members, I'm going to drop it for our Twitch fam. Twitch fam, I'm going to drop the call link for you guys first. We're going to take quick callers. And if you're part of the replay crew and you're new to this, because Black Sundays are over, at least for now. They just wrapped filming for Married to Medicine over the weekend, so we'll have that soon. And once those shows start back up, guys, I'm not going to be doing 2 lives. So we're going to try and wrap up season 6 very quickly before the new season, before Mondays gets really busy. This week, there are going to be 2 new episodes of Real Housewives of Miami, and then they're switching Miami's day to the same day as Real Housewives of Orange County. I don't know if they're doing that to get the ratings to do better for Real Housewives Miami. They should have did that. Remember, I suggested that a few weeks ago when we were seeing the failing ratings of Miami. Just saying. So what we will end up probably doing, I'm not going to do 2 separate recaps come Friday. No, there ain't no way. Especially because how Real Housewives of Orange County ain't that great. So what we will do, we will combine them on Fridays. We'll do our recaps on Fridays when it comes to Real Housewives of Miami. However, this week we will do a recap for Real Housewives of Miami. The first episode that's going to air this week, and then the second episode we'll talk about during our Real Housewives Orange County recap. Yeah, Married to Medicine just wrapped up their season, so I'm sure we're going to get that. What's today? August? Probably like October, November. We'll probably get the new season of Married to Medicine. I don't know. We'll see what that season looks like. I think we can kind of already predict what it's going to look like. All right. So I dropped the call-in link for our Twitch fam. So if you want to call in and share your quick thoughts. I froze. Please hold. Mercury retrograde is still getting me, Nicki Minaj. It's still getting me. It's still getting me. Whoa. Hold on. There we go. Oh, Lord. Right? Come on. V says, Kemp said, we are not about to have him messed up on a Friday. Right? Can you imagine me doing 2 lives on a Friday? I mean, technically, I could have enjoyed my Mondays off, but I said, okay, a lot of people were suggesting that we do like a revisit of some old shows because remember, we didn't start recapping Real Housewives until like during the pandemic. So there are so many years of like, well, what would we say about this particular season now in 2025? So that's exactly what the Rewind, Rewatch, Recap is about. And I'm loving it so far. What about you? And Replay Crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts as well. All right. Yes, and Salt Lake City's coming out soon too, right, Keith? So why am I adding more work on my shoulders? And I'm trying not to recap too much reality television anymore. I want to stay in my pop culture bag. Okay. Speaking of pop culture, guys, don't forget TheKempire After Dark, the villain era, is coming to Washington D.C. on August 22nd. If you haven't got your tickets already, what are you waiting on? Let's sell out this show together. If you want me to come back to D.C., we got to sell out shows, people. Come on. Go get your tickets today if you haven't gotten your tickets already. Meet and greets are available for that show as well. And then our last show of the summer will be in New York City, September 12th. The New York City has meet and greets, but we also have a live stream option as well. So you can watch us from around the world. Get your tickets today for the Kempire After Dark Villain Era. I just saw an astrological reading. They just said Taurus, and a bunch of other signs too, like a couple of other signs. But they said Taurus's villain era is going to continue to the end of the year. I thought I was going to end it at the New York show, but then I got the okay. No, the villain era continues until the end of 2025. Ow. Sorry to y'all. There were some other signs too. I think they also said Leo, and I have a Leo moon, so I'm extra villainy then to the end of the year. Sorry, not sorry. All right, and I love it. I met a young lady at the Atlanta show, and she says the villain era really inspired her villain era as well. I love what she had to say about it. I was like, I'm so glad that my villain era is inspiring y'all. Fantastic. Picky P says it's the fixed signs. Well, here we go. So what is that? Aquarius too? All right, we're in our villain era. Apparently, Martha's Vineyard was popping this weekend. Y'all had a lot of things going on over there. Funky says, when does Inmate Shaw come out? Probably early next year, y'all. I don't think it just keeps moving up, so probably early next year. I think right now it's still late next year, but you never know. All right, what else did I want to talk about from these first 4 episodes before we get into callers? Let's move on to, let me see. Okay, so in episode 3, we had Cynthia had her surgery. Peter was sitting there looking real worried. Candy has a conversation with Riley because her mom in the previous episode makes it seem that Riley doesn't like Todd. And Riley basically says, like, we're still kind of getting to know each other, but no. I don't have an issue with him. That's what I do like about Riley, is that she doesn't say a lot. And she can be a little, she kind of moves like Candy in a lot of ways. But when she says something, she means it. And she's like, no. And she said, if Grandma can't get on board, we might just not have to see her that often. I was like, oh, okay, Riley. Okay. Cynthia has her fibroid surgery. This is where you start to see people come and visit Cynthia in episode 3. After her fibroid surgery, Porsha contemplates the aftermath of her divorce. This is where Cordell packs up her stuff. I don't think Cordell packed anything. I think he had the movers pack her stuff up and ship it to her mama's house. But she makes a very big deal about it. And she's just like, he done packed up my stuff. Look at my reception dress from our wedding. He just threw it in this box. I mean, Cordell is not innocent, y'all, at all. No matter how you feel. Oh, Riley's a Leo too, so she's in her villain era too. Oh, that's so interesting that she's a Leo. What's Ace and Blaze? What are their signs? Because I know Todd's a Leo, Candy's a Taurus. I do see a lot of Taurus-Leo combinations. So it's interesting that her daughter's a Leo. Okay? I wonder what Candy's birth chart looks like. So we get to see that. Porsha describes her divorce as feeling like a death in the family, confides that every trip to her attorney feels like I'm driving to a funeral. At one particular point, Porsha meets with that therapist that we've seen on so many different reality shows, that black therapist. But I have to say, every time she speaks, she speaks a lot of truth, okay? But this is where Porsha does a lot of crying in the first 4 episodes, but she's going through a divorce. I have to say, she cried more in this season than she did with the Simon divorce. But she was with Cordell not that long, but she was definitely with him longer than she was with Simon, right? Exactly. Beauty Mode says, Cordell's not perfect by far. I can hear her. All right. Picky P says, I believe that Blaze is a Sagittarius. Ooh, fire signs up in the house. Okay. And Ace is a Capricorn. He gives Capricorn energy. Him and Blue Ivy. I could picture a Capricorn. I just feel that they're just level-headed. They don't say a lot, but very level-headed about their business, about their money. Okay. Keith says that Porsha was giving Bernadine. I bet Cordell moved his girlfriend or boy. No, come on now. And Cordell never got remarried, right? What? Did Cordell? Does he have a girlfriend? Because remember, what season was Cynthia on? Not Cynthia, Claudia on. Weren't they trying to hook? Because Claudia knows Cordell. Weren't they trying to hook them up? Okay. But let me see. Okay, so Candy asked Porsha. So we already talked about this. If Cordell ever hit her, then we had that big pause moment. So that was in episode 3. So we talked about that already. I want to revisit all of that. Nene is readjusting. Her storyline is basically this entire season. Well, for the first 4 episodes, is readjusting to being back in Atlanta. She seems like she's a little, not depressed. Sidebar, did you guys, when she was opening up all her gifts from her wedding, she got some Hermes plates from the Judices, the originals, Teresa and Joe, before he was kicked out. I was like, not them buying Hermes plates. The Hermes plates were gorgeous, though. Greg was like, can we eat on them? He's like, yeah, we can eat on them. You know they ain't eating on those Hermes plates, okay? So she's adjusting to being back home after the new normal was canceled, okay? Okay, Kenya, this is where I mentioned this before. She's twerking on the piano, and then she jumps into Kanye's wedding dress, and then she's dancing around in that and singing her new song that she came up with. Brandon, who we haven't seen in a month of Sundays, we do see, because you remember, this is the season with Pillow Talk, and Brandon's there. Kenya was definitely alienated from the group in season 6. You already just feel it, okay? Let's see. In episode 4, before we get to some callers, because I've been talking already for an hour and a half. But we covered a lot. Like, I was jumping around. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything that I forgot that I wanted to talk about. And I'm sure there's plenty. Cynthia receives news. Okay. Her daughter. This is where Noelle tells her that she's got a boyfriend. Okay, that she's dating. I forgot how old she was. Was she 13 at this particular point? I don't remember how old Noelle was. I do listen to Cynthia's podcast with Crystal, and that's how I get my updates on what Noelle is up to and where she's been. Okay? Let me see. DeMarcus says, Kemp, here's an idea, recap all return. Huh? Wait, I don't understand. Seasons where a housewife returns, like Nene returns, Porsha returns after Kenya's fight, and etc. I'm not sure if I understand what you mean by that. Yes, Mr. Melon Magic, because that comes up. Because when they sit down as a group to talk about Kenya and her issues with Phaedra brings up, and you said that I had AIDS. And Kenya was just like, wait. And Nene says, AIDS? And then they flash back to Kenya saying it during the reunion. Kenya tried to downplay it like, oh, you can't control what I say back to you when we're in the middle of a fight. Okay? April says, what happened to Brandon? Brandon's in L.A., I think. I think Brandon follows me on Instagram. That was like random news. I think he had liked a post. I was like, Brandon? I'm like, where you been, Brandon? But Brandon was like a big part of Kenya's life in Atlanta. I think he still is. I think they're still friends, but maybe he just doesn't come to Atlanta. Maybe it was after this Pillow Talk situation. She was like, I'm done with reality television. But not done with Kenya. So a lot of what plays out in episode 4 is about texting and the text messages between Kenya and Apollo. So Kenya's confronted by the group when it comes to that. At one particular point, Candy does see the text messages, so she brings back the information to Phaedra because they were really good friends at this particular point. All right. Miss Melanie Magic says that she said that Faye needed an AIDS test. Yeah. April says all Cynthia had to do was explain her feelings to Noelle about dating. CY says Kenya was good for revising her previous statements when called out. I will say, when you look at that, I was actually surprised to see how far Kenya has come as Shade Assassin. When she was confronted about the Apollo stuff, it was sort of like, I like that answer is not landing, Kenya. At least not for me. Go back and watch that. Was it episode 3 or 4 where it was episode 4, I think, where she has to respond for that and she's not able to really respond to that. She responds more so in the confessional. But at the end of episode 4, we have this conversation between Phaedra and Apollo. And as I said to you before, there were some icy moments between Apollo and Phaedra in these first 3 episodes. But in this particular scene, he seemed so excited to see Phaedra, but it felt so forced. It felt so produced. He's like, I don't even get to see you anymore. And she's just like, oh. And that's where she confronts him about the whole Kenya and being inappropriate with Kenya. And this is where he says, she wanted to sleep with me. I could tell she wanted to sleep with me, blah, blah, blah. And Phaedra's was like, you should not be texting her. Asia says she hasn't come far. She's come far with her shade, okay? She's come far with her shade. Shonda says that it's because Kenya is media trained. Boxy says Kenya and the stuff that came out from her mouth was disturbing. Lord. Guys, we're almost at 500 likes. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. We're revisiting season 6 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts and opinions on the season. Let's get to some quick calls. If you're a member of the channel, I am going to drop the call-in link for you guys really quickly so that we can get some real quick calls, and then I'm going to wrap it up because I've already been talking a long time, and I got other stories to report and get you guys updated. Okay? All right, so if you're a member of the channel, I dropped the call link for you guys as well. Twitch fam, I already dropped the call link for you guys. Taurus with the T, who I met in Atlanta's backstage. Remember, guys, the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, TheKempire LLC, or our sponsors, and everything that they say is alleged in their opinion. Okay? All right, let's bring up Taurus with the T. Taurus with the T, what did you want to share?
Hey, Cam, can you hear me?
Yes.
Happy Monday.
You too.
I wanted to call in to say, well, first of all, everyone, if you are thinking about going to the Villain Era Tour, please go. I had such a great time last week, Tuesday, in Atlanta, and Kemp puts on a great show. But I wanted to say that season 6 of RHOA is my absolute favorite season ever. I think I want to really hone in on saying that Mama Joyce this entire season was, I'm sorry, she was honestly very disgusting with her behavior. The things that she said about Todd, the way that she was inconsiderate about Candy, and even trying to rile Riley up to saying, negative stuff about Todd. And you know what? Mama Joyce was carrying on the same exact way with AJ as she did with Todd. And I think for me, like Mama Joyce, after Candy lost her brother, I think she just put too many of her eggs in the Candy basket. And that could be a lot of pressure for the only remaining child alive. Because now it's like Candy's growing up, she's having her own life, and now it feels like Mama Joyce is going to be left alone. But I'll continue to listen because I love this season. Bye.
Okay. Thanks, Taurus with the T. All right, let's bring up Angel next. Angel, what did you want to share in regards to season 6 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Hey, Kempire. I just wanted to say that watching season 6, replaying it, there was so much that we kind of forgot about.
Right.
And I was just like, in retrospect, oh my God, Miss Diane and Mama Joyce both had real glow ups. And like Porsha was not the sharpest pencil like in the stack, but she was more likable as Porsha Stewart almost back to Williams. And as Porsha Williams, she's like way too calculated and guarded. And I think that's why we don't like her as much anymore or trust her so much. And then I really liked seeing back how when Nene wasn't so petty and hating Candy and they had a good relationship. So I liked that little flashback. That was really good for me. So I will continue to rewind with you guys and watch and recap on the chats. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you, Angel. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Why are we singing this song in the chat, y'all? Rashida got bangs. That Rashida and Kirk story with the family, the kids, that's gone left. All right. Paula, we're going to bring up next. Paula, not Paula. Oh, wait, no, yeah, Paula. Hold on. Hey, Paula, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm definitely going to try to, but do the live stream. I was telling somebody in the chat, I'm going to do your live stream for New York.
Okay.
So I'm excited for that one. So
Thank you.
The only thing I want to say is I'm going to keep up with you all. So I didn't get to see this one, but going forward, I'm going to catch them. But listening to your recap of it, it reminded me because I'm a person that started from the beginning with the show. So I've seen them all for however many years it's been on until I stopped watching. what I wanted to say on this one is Nene, she brought the blonde. One thing I can tell you is she brought the blonde hair, and she did it, and she looks so good with it. Now everybody's got blonde hair. Porsha, I was very glad to see that she did grow out of whatever she had with Cordell, because good, bad, or indifferent, she survived. She got stronger for it, and I like the new Porsha for that part of it. Now, could she, be a better person? Yeah. As far as Candy really did well. I can't say nothing bad about her, but her mama ain't gonna change. She stank. She gonna stay stank, and she's just a horrible person. I kept saying in the chat when she talked crazy to Todd's mom, and then she passed away. Wasn't that awful? I mean, she passed away like the next day or something. So looking at all these ladies over time, I just really am proud of a lot of them. Cynthia, they're strong. They're strong and they're moving forward. She didn't have to stand over there crying about Peter. None of them did. So with that being said, Phaedra was out here in Africa with her leg out. Remember that hooch dress she had with her leg out? And we don't know what she had on her, that she looks good. So for that part, I'm glad to see that they're strong. Now, they're going in their own direction about it, but I give them that credit. I believe that they are really, they're strong about whatever they're doing. They're committed.
All right. Thank you so much, Paula, for calling in.
Have a good one.
You too. I do want to highlight this super chat. Thank you, DeMarcus. DeMarcus says, to reword my statement, an idea to recap all comeback seasons, like Nene's comeback after she left and Porsha's comeback after she was suspended, and etc. I see what you're saying. Oak Cliff says, still confused why Nene detests Candy so much is odd. That's another thing to kind of watch, because in season 6, they're okay. They're getting along. But when Candy calls Cynthia, because Cynthia is recovering from her fibroid surgery, and Nene's there, just pay attention to Nene's body language. She's like, hey, Candy. But not like, it didn't feel like genuine. Her dislike for Candy, it never really goes away. They kind of like get along to get along, but you always see it. It's never like, oh yeah, she really likes Candy. But yeah, it is something to watch. O'Shea's backstage we're going to bring up next. O'Shea, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. Yeah, I think that is rooted in jealousy, because Nene has always had that thing about Candy in the back of her head. Even when they were like cordial, you could always see there was that thing. But yeah, I just wanted to read the point when you were discussing Phaedra and, the alleged stories, because even till now, we don't know where Phaedra gets money from. Phaedra was not on TV for 6 or 7 years, and I was not aware that the mortuary business is given that, because Phaedra has been living life when she was in Atlanta. She's been all over the world. She's been doing all the things, and we don't know what her work is. And for people who don't know, if you go back and look at Q's Funky Danima's videos from those days, you will hear and see some things. I don't want to repeat, but I'm sure you know. But yeah, you will hear and see some things about where Phaedra allegedly gets money from. And I'd forgotten about all that. I just was reminded as you were speaking. But yeah, but thanks, Empire.
Thanks, O'Shea. All right. Yeah. April says, Candy came in on season 2, right? Yeah. That's why when people say that she's not an OG, I get it. She wasn't there in season 1, but she's been there literally since the beginning. She just missed out on season 16. She's an OG. I get it. If you want to get technical, she wasn't part of the original cast, but she's been there the longest besides the OGs. But yeah. El Michelle says, oh, baby, the mortuary business pays. But it's not her business. It's not her business. Unless she has a partnership with that guy, I don't think that she does. I think she does business with him, but it's not her business. But yeah, anyway, who knows? But here's the thing. Here's the bigger question. A lot of these housewives, y'all should be like, how do they make their money? Because there's a lot of them, you're like, at least with Phaedra, I could be like, well, she's an attorney. She still has a law office. She was just representing one of those reality TV stars. Like, I can find at least where she's getting some of her cash, okay? But some of these other housewives, I can't see how to say your name. The Ramos, or the Raymond Lanos. I apologize. Says Kempire, did you watch the Candy interview with Todd Chrisley? No, but I saw the clips and I won't be watching. I tell you, there's a lot of stuff with Candy that I don't agree with. Her opinions and stances. I'm not. No, I'm not, and I won't be. Okay, but yeah. And I won't be. All right. Let me bring up next DJ. What's going on, DeJuan?
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
That was so fast. I wasn't expecting that. I really do. So are you going to recap 6, correct?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, that was the best season by far. Obviously, because it had pillow talk, which is crazy to think that Nene was setting records back then. I think when you look at the stats, it said 2 million people were like watching that live. I can't fathom to think 2 million people tuned into one episode. Yeah. Today, I mean, obviously, I think Beverly Hills came close to that a couple of seasons ago, but the drama was so good. So I'll definitely be tuning in. I can't wait to follow up on that. And I'm glad you picked this up in the downtime because I'm like, what the hell am I going to do between Atlanta and Potomac? Like, it's nothing going on. And do you do Love and Marriage, Huntsville?
No.
Okay, no problem. And I agree with you too with Candy. She be doing. Yeah, I'm like, really, Candy? All the black people that support you, and you gonna sit up there with him? Like, come on.
But that's her friend.
I get it, and do that behind closed doors. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Yeah, I could go on a whole rant, and maybe I will when we get to Washington, D.C., but yeah. There's a few things. You meant the liking of the Diddy post that, what was it, Kim Porter's best friend posted, and both her and Tiny and Shamia liked that post. All right, Tanya's backstage. Tanya, what did you want to share in regards to season 6, our rewatch of season 6 for the Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone.
Hey.
Yes, thank you. May the villain era continue to the beginning of next year because it's been kind of great. I mean, right? It's set in stone. But with that said, thank you for doing this rewatch. It's just like, it reminds me of us going back to the future, knowing what we know now and watching, you're like, oh, don't do that. Oh, no, don't go with him. Don't be with, it's like, oh, I mean, it's a great rewatch. Thank you for doing this. I did my homework. I rewatched it. And I was like, I forgot how bad Cordell was to Porsha and Peter. And someone I was asking in the chat, like, did he report himself?
Yes.
And someone's like, yes, he finally. Finally.
My God.
Thank goodness. That took enough time, but, it is what it is. Yeah. But yes, thank you for doing this. And also to all the kids going back to school now. Hallelujah. I mean, this summer was rough with these aggressive little kids. I will say that again. But it was great spending so much time, with the kids. But yes, they're going back to school. Go learn, get that knowledge.
The New York kids don't go back until after Labor Day.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Mine goes back tomorrow.
Oh,
out in Alhambra. Yes, I'm like, party. I got her clothes ready. I was like, let's pick out your clothes, your snacks, your lunch. We're ready. Let's get this moving.
What grade is she in?
First.
Oh,
she's in first grade.
You got a little one. No wonder you're like, time to go back.
I know, yes. Little chatterbox. But yeah, thank you so much for doing this. And
Tanya.
yes, hi to the chats, everyone. I'm switching between YouTube and Twitch, so it's great. Love you all, chat family. Have a good one.
Thank you, Tanya. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. And first of all, what do we say for back to school? Congratulations. Well, congratulations to the parents, because when I went to Atlanta, that was like the first week of school for a lot. Well, some. I think the previous week was also the first week of school happy first week of school for the folks in Atlanta. So I know some of you are going back this week. Chasing Katrina says mine go back tomorrow too in Texas. Lord, I'm glad I don't have kids. Lord, I would have to be thinking about that and this. No, not happening. Shonda says I think Candy and Ebony was less supporting Diddy and more supporting Kim, given the throuple and beef between Cassie and Kim. Doesn't make it okay either way. Yeah. All right. But anyways, guys, I appreciate everyone calling in. I appreciate everyone engaging in the live chat and being a part of our new show, the Rewind, Rewatch, Recap. Say that 3 times fast. And of course, thank you to everyone watching on Twitch and Twitter. We appreciate you guys. If you're watching the replay of this, I understand you probably didn't know that this was coming, even though the link has been up for days. But it's okay. I know some of you are back at work or back at school. You'll be a part of the rewatch and the replay. Okay, so welcome to the replay or rewatch party. All right, let's continue this conversation in the comment section. Thank you to our Kings Guards. Thank you to our channel members. Thank you to our subscribers. And those of you still watching in the bushes, get subscribed today. You're missing out, okay? And of course, thank you guys for sending in super chats. Wait a second, I think we had a super chat. Please hold. Oh, no, we didn't. We had Paula. Paula, thank you so much for buying your live New York City live stream ticket. We appreciate that as well. Don't forget, guys, The Kempire After Dark, The Villain Era, is coming to DC in less than 2 weeks now. I'll be there August 22nd. That is a Friday. You have no excuses. You have nothing else going on. And if you're scared to come out on your own, this is the party to come out on your own. Literally, we had so many people that came on their own to the Atlanta show. People do that all the time. Don't be afraid. Get your tickets today. Don't forget the New York City show is September 12th. There's a live stream option, so anyone from around the world can be a part of that show. Ticket information is available in the description. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to everyone watching on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and here on YouTube. We appreciate you guys. Replay crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts. Rate those taglines. Let us know what you thought about episode 1 through 4 of season 6 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you guys. Thank you for 500 likes. See you all in the next one. Twitch, stay where you are. I'm going to be there in a little bit.
Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. As always, you can hear Kempire on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. More information can be found on KempireRadio.com.